Yo, what's going on, folks? Can all hear? Look, we got a big, nasty dump in Bitcoin. So what's the 411? Like, where are we going? Is this like some big buying opportunity, or is this a deeper pullback? You know, that's always the question that we have when we have a pullback in the markets, and something that we just always have to be mindful of. But a couple things to just remember is that, you know, we've been on an incredible run in Bitcoin since, you know, the coronavirus lows, which is, you know, really into 3,000. So you're up over 10x, 15x. That's a lot of gains. If you look at a lot of the coins that, you know, we've been trading nonstop, you know, and I've been pounding the table on crypto since 2017. You know, like I trade this uni back and forth. You know, this thing was like $2, $3 just a few months ago. So when you look at like these pullbacks, you have to look at it in context of really how much the market has gone up, how parabolic it is, and then what constitutes a trend and the breaking of a trend, which is the most important. So this is how I define trends. The easiest way to really define trends is to look at any particular name, and this goes whether you're like in the stock market or, you know, whatever it might be. But like anything that you look at, so, you know, it could be like BNB coin, Ethereum, you know, whatever it might be. The easiest way to constitute trends is obviously price, right? With price going up or down. But trends come in different time frames, right? So you have like your longer term trends, short term trends, intermediate term trends. So the easiest way to identify trends on specific time frames is by just using simple moving averages. So your 200-day moving average, which is, right, this yellow line, the slope of it will tell you the trend on a particular time frame. So you can see this thing is still curving up very, very nicely on Ethereum, even on your 50-day moving average, right? This is curving up very nicely. But on your shorter term, right, your 9 and 20s, the trend is down. So a couple things. So you have what's called a misalignment in trend, right? An alignment in trend would be like when everything is cruising straight up like this. That's when you have like the pure momentum and you're just trend trading and trend riding. Now on a short-term basis, these trends have reversed. And so what that does is tell us, at least on a 9 to 20 to 30-day time frame, we are probably due for some type of consolidation, some type of basing action, you know, similar to like, you know, what we had in the beginning of the year. If you see like in 2021, in the beginning, you know, we got to 40,000 and we pulled back really for like a month. And you can see like, you know, it always feels weird like when it's happening, but it's just pulling back. See like how your 9-day moving average is kind of curling down and your 20, and you kind of pull back into some supports. And then it's not like you just like come into support and just rip, right? You start to hold and build, allow buyers to refresh, and then, you know, you can build out a base and then come in higher. And I think that's probably something that would be the smart move for cryptocurrencies is like, right, let these things base out a little bit and let them digest the gains. And I think these are going to be some things that could be working. Now, on the other side of things, you know, we've added some positions in the morning so we can go over them. So I added a half size of this Ethereum or so far because we got a nice kind of breakout pullback setup here. You know, we have the 50-day moving average here. So this is not a trend trade, but this is kind of a bounce trade. And this is more of a kind of scalpy setup that's based on support and resistance where we have really a low risk opportunity. You know, I'm in a partial position so far, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to add to it as it starts to hold. So these are what we call like kind of like nibbles, right? Where, you know, you've got to pull back to support. You don't necessarily know that they're going to hold, but you have some locations where, you know, these things could start to go. The other one that, you know, I've added a little bit to is this LTC. You know, this thing was $120, got to $240. Now we pulled right back into that 50-day moving average too. And you've got a whole level of price support that's like sitting there. I think, you know, we can use today's lows as like a way to just measure the risk. Once again, these are partial positions because we don't have confirmation yet that these moves are gonna hold. We know that the market's very extended, but we also know that it's in a trend and we're at support. So we have some conflicting evidence over here. But, you know, do I think like Bitcoin's gonna come crashing down or anything like that? No. I mean, out of all the coins, like Bitcoin's probably the one I trade the least anyways. And there's so many other ones that are just sitting at support. So I do like the location on LTC. You know, like something like this uni, a couple people asked me about this. I think this one is a little bit too weird because you got a topping candle over here and it's got an awesome range. But this thing, like, you know, I think our first alert on this was at like $3-4. Like this thing has gone up a long way. I think when the market gets like really nasty, it's better to stick with like some of these like larger cap names like, you know, Link and ETH and even Binance Coin, which is getting to a nice level. You know, you're sitting here on the 9 EMA. I was really hoping for kind of a retest of this 140, 160, but we're getting into a really nice spot on this. But, you know, in general, is the market holding up? Yeah, we were extended. You know, that's what happened. You don't go from like $40 to $350 and not expect the smallest of things to trigger an avalanche of selling. And that's what happens in this market right now, right? Everybody's got itchy trigger fingers because you're up so much. You know, that's just the simplest way to put it is when you're up that much, everybody's got greasy fingers, right? Everybody's got greasy fingers. Like imagine you're sitting here and you bought this thing at like $30-40 and it's at $340. And, you know, yesterday it was like Janet Young came out and said like, hey, you know, these are things that are a little bit risky, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you going to do when you see something that's going up 10x? Sell, right? Sell first, ask questions later. That's trading, right? I mean, you take your profits when you see them and you reload. That's just the name of the game. But for today, you know, I'm concentrating on these bigger names. So it's like LTC. I've got some. We added some at about 1450 or so in the chat room off this 50 SMA. These are just partial sizes. You know, I'm looking at this link and then, you know, we'll see what goes. If these things start to hold, then, you know, I'll start to add to them. But the one thing is like, you don't necessarily always get these linear bounces. Like, see, like last time we tested the 20 SMA in Bitcoin, you know, you bounce for like 2 days. And then you kind of roll back over, right? So like a lot of times it just takes more time to digest all that selling and build into it. And that's why I'm really, you know, adding like a third at a time. I would say maybe use up like 10-15% of, you know, cash reserves and then start building into it again. Otherwise, I got stopped out of a whole shitload of positions like IOTA and stuff. And it's been an awesome run. So how a run works, you're going to make a shitload of money like when these things start to go, but you're going to get stopped out at some point, and you know, at some point you'll give back some profits or take some small losses towards the end of a run, and then you reload. That's trading in a nutshell. So guys, let me know what's going on, what you need help with. As always, right, you know, I'll be in the crypto trading room. You guys are all welcome to hang out here. Every Bulls on Wall Street member has access to this already. If you don't see your channels, just let me know. Peace!